Jenny, perhaps there's one way to resolve this issue and have another general election. What do you think?
Well, in some ways, I think Kwasi Kwarteng is absolutely right. And I speak not as a Tory supporter, but it's clear that the Tory party have got a mandate at the moment. They're at 40% in the polls. Nobody thinks there's any serious opposition. People who are really worried about Brexit, nevertheless, don't think that any other party can take over. And they do recognise that circumstances have changed. Whether there's going to be another election is a really interesting question, because in many ways, obviously, it would make Theresa May's life a great deal easier if she did, because with the opposition in total disarray and reselection coming up in lots of Labour seats and internal rows in Labour, she would get a fat majority. On the other hand, we know that she has said, I won't do this, that I have a mandate, I will carry on. And she's a woman who so far has claimed that she wants to keep her word.
But the manifesto has changed. Why can't her word change on the election timing?
Yeah. Well, I think the manifesto changed also because Theresa May is a new Prime Minister. She's sort of clearing the way. She doesn't want to fight David Cameron's old battles or George Osborne's old battles on say, academies. She wants to clear the field of battle because she's about to have a huge row over grammar schools. She's got to hammer that through the House. What does annoy me a little bit about all this, though, is that when Theresa May stands up at Tory party conferences and says, we're going to reform capitalism, we're going to intervene in put workers on boards, marching forwards towards socialism together. You know, when Ed Miliband even hinted at these things, people like Theresa May stood up and said he was an economic threat to the nation and he's dangerous and he shouldn't be allowed anywhere near the levers of power. And lo and behold, they go and steal his clothing and say it's all wonderful. It's just things like that. People just get sick of it, and people are tired of politicians just attacking other people for things they want to do themselves.
Jenny,
but that's one of those classic divisions that the Tories can say we're going to reform capitalism, and people don't get alarmed.
Because they have the power to
but also because they are the party of capitalism, so people assume they're not going to threaten it. In the same way, it's only Labour who could do things like reforming welfare and the NHS.
Not true. I think Ian Duncan Smith would have something to say about that.
Labour could do it with much less criticism, because again, people assume that they're on the side.
By shirking it, allowed it to get out of control.
But that's the issue, that you can always deal more easily with the things which are seen to be your natural territory that you would defend, because people don't assume that you have malign intentions.
I think that's a fair point, but I think your characterisation of the Prime Minister's speech at conference was slightly exaggerated. I mean,
yes,
I don't remember her saying,
it was very
Miliband. It was very Miliband-esque. They were intervening in the energy market.
She didn't say, well, let's march to socialism.
No, but she didn't. But Miliband was hinting at that, and it's the same thing. Intervening in the energy market, Miliband policy. Workers on companies' boards, Miliband policy.
But a lot of this
borrowing to invest, Ed Balls policy. And when Ed Balls said it, the Tories hammered him for it.
But to be fair, I mean, a lot of this David Cameron and George Osborne were talking about. I mean, they were talking about things like interventions in markets. They were talking about trying to make capitalism fairer for the broader mass of people than just a few fat cats.
And thank goodness some people are finally starting to say that, particularly when the Brexit vote showed how many people feel that capitalism has treated them very badly.
But I think it was entirely legitimate for the Prime Minister.
Tory voters voted against those policies at the last election.